Today we're going to talk about a romantic film released in 2014 titled Saf Rosie. The story begins with a man named Ernesto, who wakes his son up early. Ernesto is a soldier in the army, and he wants his son to grow up to be like him in the future, someone he can be proud of. At the same time, he insists that his son follow in his footsteps. Ernesto is often strict and controlling, paying close attention to every detail of his son's life. On the other hand, his son doesn't want to become like his father in the future. Then we're introduced to Ernesto's wife, who is preparing food. At the dining table, Ernesto asks his son to repeat the soldier's speech that he has been teaching him. The boy repeats it as if he were a real soldier presenting himself to higher-ranking officers. Everything Ernesto does is meant to prepare his son for a future in the military. However, his mother feels that Ernesto is being too harsh on him, especially since he's still young. When the boy makes a mistake while reciting the speech, Ernesto gets angry. At that moment, the mother defends her son and asks Ernesto to give him some time. Meanwhile, the boy forgets to thank her for defending him, so Ernesto punishes him by hitting his leg to remind him to say thank you. Before leaving for the army, Ernesto asks his son to take care of the house while he's gone. He also insists that the boy call his stepmother mom, but the boy gets upset and tells him, "She's not my mother." This makes Ernesto furious, and he pushes him against the wall. The boy responds angrily, saying that if his real mother were still alive, Ernesto wouldn't dare treat him this way. Ernesto tells him to forget the past and act smart, because that's what soldiers do. Later, his wife talks to him and tells him that the boy is still too young for all this pressure. But Ernesto disagrees, saying that this is the right age for him to learn how to be a man. He then tells her that if anything in the house breaks or needs fixing, she should ask his son to handle it instead of calling someone from outside. After that, Ernesto leaves for the army. The next day, while his wife is on her way to the supermarket, her car engine breaks down. She goes back to the boy to ask for help, but he is in his room without clothes. She apologizes for entering without knocking, and he tells her, "If you need anything, just call me." She tells him that the car engine isn't working, so he goes to the garage and tries to fix it. Suddenly, he hits his head on the car. She rushes over to check on him, and there she tells him she didn't mean to enter his room without permission. He tells her to forget what she saw, but she replies that these are normal things between a mother and her son. He responds firmly that she is not his mother. After that, Ernesto calls her. She tells him that the car has broken down, so he asks her to hand the phone to his son. He starts shouting at him, telling him to fix the engine, saying that every soldier should know how to do this. The boy, frustrated, hands the phone back to his stepmother. The next day, he tries again to fix the engine but still doesn't know how to repair it. He thinks about calling a mechanic, but she encourages him to try again so his father can be proud of him. Then she pretends that she twisted her leg, and he rushes over to help her. She tells him that he's a special young man and thanks him for helping her. At that moment, the boy tries to kiss her, but he quickly remembers that she is his father's wife, so he leaves. Later, while he's watching TV, his stepmother comes to him wearing night clothes and tells him she can't sleep. After a short while, she starts to seduce him, and a romantic relationship begins between them. The next day, while she's in the kitchen, the boy comes to her and tells her that he figured out how to fix the car. She then asks him if what happened between them the night before was wrong, and he replies that it will remain their secret. After some time passes, their relationship continues to grow, and Adna begins to enjoy her husband's absence as she lives a love story with his son. She even removes Ernesto's photo from the bedroom whenever she's with the boy. Meanwhile, he starts counting the days they spend together, and he eventually manages to fix the car engine. She kisses him to thank him, and the next day he brings her a bouquet of flowers. But then they notice Ernesto's bag he has returned from the army. He ends up seeing them together in the room. Later, the boy follows her to the garage to talk, and she tells him they need to stay away from each other before Ernesto starts to suspect anything. However, he refuses to accept that and becomes aggressive, trying to force himself on her, but she fights him off and hits him. At that moment, Ernesto walks in and sees blood on his son's face. Adna quickly tells him that it was an accident and that he hit the wall. Ernesto then tells his son to get ready for a hunting trip the next day, saying that he'll never become a real man if he keeps behaving the way he does. The next day, he and his son go out hunting. At one point, the son takes a knife and considers killing him, but in that moment, the father tells him that everything he does is because he loves him and wants him to become independent, a responsible and strong man. He explains that this is why he wants him to join the army, so he can grow up to be strong like him. Hearing this, the boy hesitates, backs down, and starts to feel remorse. Later, he takes his father's gun and confronts him, admitting that he had been involved with his wife during his absence. He even says he wrote down the days and times in a notebook. He tells him, "You wanted me to become a responsible man, so I learned to be a man with your wife, because that's what soldiers do." Ernesto responds by laughing at his words and says he's actually proud of him. He tells him that his feelings for Adna brought out the man inside him, and that this is exactly what he wanted to see his son become a real man. After that, he calmly sits down at the table as if nothing had happened, and even asks them to sit and finish dinner together. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any new movie recaps and summaries. Let me know in the comments what you think about the ending. Would you have made the same choices?